team folder. So npm, we need to initialize the project same way as we did when we initialized Git repository. We do git init, and then it creates like a whatever it needs to create to start up the Git repository. So npm does the same thing. We do npm init, and that will initialize the project for us, and all it does basically creates one file that is called package.json, and everything that we want to install with npm, it's going to be listed there, all the libraries and modules and stuff like that. So I'm in my team root folder, and I do npm init, and it's going to ask me a bunch of questions. It says, okay, how I'm gonna use this package name, which is like a project name. I'll just gonna press enter. I don't care, it's going to be class tutorial. Version 1.00, I'm fine with that. Description, you can put description if you want, you don't have to. I'm not gonna do. Entry point index.js for us, that's if you have like a Node.js project. For us, doesn't matter. You can press enter. Task command, we're not gonna set up Git repository for now. Keywords, no. Author, you can put your name if you want. License, fine. So I pressed enter to all of them, and all it did, it created this JSON, this object right here with the, if I would answer something, it would be here, right? So I didn't put my author name, stuff like that. So you can just press enter, it's fine. It says, is this okay? You say yes. And if I go back now to my root of my folder, I can see that there is a package.json file that got created. And here, whenever we run npm command in the future or anytime, npm looks inside this package.json file, and if it sees dependencies and stuff that needs to be loaded, it will go ahead and install them. So once we install Gulp, I'll tell you where that gets very, very handy. So we will, to shorten our time, I'm gonna go and just copy. I'll provide you with this stuff. So you see these dev dependencies and dependencies. For right now, you don't have to worry about the difference. Dev dependencies are stuff that we use only while we're developing, and dependencies will be stuff that are needed in production. For us, doesn't matter, we don't need any of this in production. It's WordPress. This is mostly for Node projects and JavaScript stuff, or Angular or React, and applications that use some other modules. We don't need that in WordPress. So we can just copy this from here, and I can, for people that are trying to catch up, I'm gonna, or no, just pick like that, or that's fine. There we go. So we need to short, we can do one by one of these modules. Those are modules that we need to use. I'll explain them in a second, but just because to be faster, I already have it there, so I'm just gonna copy. You see it's right below this license. I put comma, so I continue, and then I just paste these other objects, and I'm gonna save that package JSON. So what this gives us, if I go now in the terminal and run npm install, npm knows, okay, I'm gonna look in the package JSON file, and whatever I see that I need to install, I'm gonna install. So it's going to go ahead and install all this stuff: Gulp, auto prefixer, SAS, source maps, clean CSS, concat. I mean, this is the redundant, so I can remove that, but it doesn't matter. You can leave it there. Uglify and concat, and I'll go over those in a little bit. So let's go to our terminal. So I said when I do npm install, Node will look into that package JSON and install all those things. And I press enter, and it start downloading things for me. Start downloading a bunch of stuff. And they are all getting saved into a new folder that showed up in our team, node_modules. And why this is awesome, look, when I open this thing, look how many folders are there. It's like thousands of things, like bunch of stuff. And when you do commit, or you want to give that to someone, or you want to transfer somewhere, if you want to go and copy all these node modules folder, it's like thousands of things. It's gonna take forever. What you do to someone, you just give him this package.json file, right? You give him this file and he goes into his team and he says npm install, and he will install all these same things that you have. He will install on his computer. That's how you know that people have, for example, we are like all developers in one team, and they give us a project, and we have Node, and we want to make sure that we all use the same versions of same packages and everything. All we need to do is to have this file, and we all install our own machines. We just run that npm install and install all this stuff for us, instead of me giving you USB drive and transferring files from person to person, right? So much faster. And for us, it's done in 23 seconds, right? And it installed all these things here that are in dependencies, both dev and regular dependencies. And for us on front end, we don't see any difference. But what we can do now, we can use all these modules that I was telling about Gulp for a long time, right? So we're gonna go and create this, and that's all we gotta know about Node and npm. That's how to install these Node modules. And now to use Gulp in our team file, in our team folder, we need file named gulpfile.js. It's very kind of like common sense. The names are logical, right? Gulpfile.js. Okay, so I already have it there. All right, so forget about it then. Okay, I'm gonna open. No, that's not. This is I have to create it. Gulpfile.js empty, and I will just go ahead and copy from the one that I created before and got ready for our class. And I also will provide you this, and you will get it from I lost connection. Good. From GitHub. So let's go. Come on, stop showing up. So this is that Gulp file. It's outside of our class scope, so we're not gonna learn how to go and now do this from scratch. But you're just gonna get this file, put it in your team, and you can use it, right? As soon as you install all these modules using npm, then you can start ahead and use this. And we're gonna go through this really quick. So you recognize this: Gulp, Gulp Sass, Gulp, Amplify, Gulp, Concat. Those are all stuff that we had in our package JSON, right? There they are. So we installed them here using npm install. And now Gulp file. This is the way Node works in JavaScript, right? We're requiring we importing those files. Okay, put them here so I can use them. And then we have two tasks. We said we're gonna use this as a task manager. So we set up two tasks. One is for the styles, one is for the JavaScript. So it says, okay, start this task, call it styles, then run this function. Okay, I want the source files to be everything in my this is wrong. Let me see. Okay, we'll check that in a little bit, but we don't need this stuff. this will be different for us because we didn't use font awesome. I'll remove that, but it's saying, okay, get those source files, like for example these two, don't look at them right now, so just use these two. So go get the SAS style.scss. We said that that's the one where we're importing all the other ones, and then also get that WooCommerce because it's separate. You should be already familiar with that. We went through that a couple of times. And then once you get these files, create source map. Forget about it for now. Just create source maps. And then this SAS function means compile all these SAS. So what Koala was doing for us before, this function will do the same thing. It will understand SCSS and will compile a regular CSS. And then it says do auto prefixer for us. So do all these WebKit, Mozilla, all those prefixes that we would have to write ourselves the other way. And then we can also even say, okay, go 3 versions back or 5 versions back. And it knows like to cover Internet Explorer 9 or something. You should not worry about earlier than Internet Explorer 8. And our life would be much better if there was no Internet Explorer at all. But it's there, so a little bit longer, and we have to kind of get our application ready for that as well. And then once does that step, so those are all steps, right? It does one after another. So sassify, then put out a prefixer, then clean CSS means, and also adds all the Internet Explorer 8 stuff that we need. So I don't want to worry about, I don't even know how to write all those things. So that's why I'm using Gulp and telling it, and I'm using this module to do this for me. So it's gonna do in this pace, in this step. It's gonna clean CSS means it's going to remove all the comments, all the extra space in our style sheet, stuff like that, and it's gonna add Internet Explorer compatibility, and then it's gonna go to the next step. Concat means put these two together, concatenate them, right? Put them together. Like it's going to put styles.scss, and then it's gonna put WooCommerce SCSS right up below it, and we have to add our Bootstrap stuff here. And we said we want to load Bootstrap first, and then our style, and then in this case WooCommerce, in case we want to use that as well. And then once you put them all together in one file, then save it as style.css, and you see we don't have any like / any like URL. That means it's going to save it in the same folder where Gulp file is, which is our root folder, and that's exactly where we want to save it, right? So this is where our Gulp, where is it? Right here, Gulp file. So when we say like this, save it here, concatenate them and save them here, it means the same folder. Create source map, don't worry about it. And then okay, the final destination, this is the way you say in JavaScript, use the same folder, // you know how you use // to go back one step. // means stay in this wherever you are right now, and this is relating to the Gulp file. So it's our root folder of our team, and that's where we want, because WordPress will look at this style.css. So what we did in these steps, we said grab style.css, SCSS from this folder, SAS, grab this one from this folder and save it, and do all these steps and then save it here. And we already saw in functions.php that we're telling WordPress to look at that file already. So that's already set up for us. As soon as we save it here, it's going to be picked up by WordPress. So what we are missing here, we are missing the source CSS for Bootstrap so we need to include it here in this instead of this thing. So someone wants to help me out how to do it. So what should I type here? Yes, so we are saying what locations. You see CRC says what is the source, where can I find this. Gulp is saying where can I find this file now, and we're gonna say okay, in the same folder where you at. So Gulp file it's in the root. Okay, so now we want to say okay, going inside SRC, and then inside that we have folder CSS. Okay, go inside there, and then you will find bootstrap.min.css. So grab that file and then goes next. So it grabs this file, then it grabs the style.css inside SAS folder, grabs WooCommerce, and have them all three together. We'll do all these steps to all of them, and then it will combine them, concatenate them together, combine them into style.css, and save them here. And we are all done with one task. This task will grab all these files, put them together, boom, and we can use it in our WordPress, right? It's so much complicated right now like this, but it makes sense for us to set it up once and we're good to go. We don't have to worry. If we add another CSS file, like let's say we get some other library you want to use and it has CSS like Font Awesome that I wanted to use initially, we would add it here, and then we just say okay, grab this file as well. Just add another line and say this is where the file is, go grab it and use the same thing. So the same thing we gotta do for the JavaScript stuff. And again, this is wrong here, we don't need that part. So two JavaScript files that we want to combine and use is Popper. We said we don't need that because we used it externally. Remember that part when we used the link to grab that popper.js. So right inside the JS folder, we only have Bootstrap.js and main.js. So we want to do the same thing that we did for the CSS stuff. We want to combine them together, and it's in JavaScript world, it's called, instead of minify or whatever, it's uglify. It's just get them together, and it changes a little bit of something. So if someone downloads your JavaScript, they can't really read exactly what you did. They can kind of get a sense, but it's uglified. So your variables are changed names and stuff like that. So it's not really usable. So they can use it, but they can't really customize your code. So you want to kind of do that. But a little bit, yeah, you don't really want to like just hand, because all JavaScript files are loaded on every site you go. You can see their JavaScript stuff because it's loaded in a browser. So you can go to your console in Chrome and look and find them, but usually they're all uglified, right? So it does the same thing. We just call the task differently. Instead of CSS up there, we call it JavaScript JS here, and we say, okay, what are the source? The source is inside SRC. We have JS folder, and then we have bootstrap.min.js. Pick this file. Go away. Why I lost my connection? Oh, because my phone died. Nice. Well, I'm gonna have to do GitHub from home, I guess. So remind me later then. I'll do it. You will have the code in GitHub tonight, and if you want to look at it. So JavaScript, we say okay, grab this file, grab this min.js. It's not empty right now, but we want to set it up so later we can use it if you want. And then put them together, concatenate them, and name this file script.min.js. And then once you do that, uglify it, and once you do that step, then save it inside the distribution folder, right?
And we don't need to worry about Popper because we're bringing that in.
We brought it in from the external file in functions PHP earlier. We can, I tried to, I mean, it's probably a way to concatenate it together with this, but it was giving some errors, and I didn't really dig into it that much.
If you bring things in from the web like that, we don't need to worry about that.
Yes, because you're bringing it from the web, you can't really there is no reason for you to like concatenate. If you download it in your team and save it like Bootstrap, like we did with Bootstrap, then you want to include it to be loaded as one. So right now, if you look in our distribution folder, there's nothing, right? But we are saying Gulp, once it's done with all this stuff, to save these concatenated JavaScript files and save them inside distribution folder. And that will happen when we run, and you'll see when we run this, it will start doing that. And then the default task is, don't worry about this, Gulp watch task. That's the one we're gonna be using. So whenever we go in our terminal and type Gulp and then watch, it will run this stuff, and basically it will run JS task, which is all this. You see, we named it JS. It's all these things, and then it's styles. It's all the above stuff that we named it here, right? So it's basically gonna run both things, and what it's gonna do is gonna watch for all changes we do in these files. If we do any changes here, it's gonna pre-compile everything. If we do any changes in SAS folder, it's gonna recompile everything, and that's what we want to do. We don't want to worry about going and running koala or something like that. Now all we do, we just type our stuff, and it will be picked up and compiled every time we save the file. It will recognize the changes, and you'll see that in a second. So now we want to save this. We say that all is ready. It's always possibility that this is not, it should be good, because I copied different one from the other project, but it should be good from what I see here, because you can organize these, right, as the way you want. You don't need to have these folders, or you can have different things, but this is a good practice. So let's try now. And the way we do, we gotta start that watch command. We're gonna tell Gulp, okay, watch for all the changes now. So we run Gulp watch, and we have everything done. It should start watching. Okay, so you see it's watching. It's just sitting there right now. So what we want to test is, let's go, for example, and put something in our custom.scss, and we can do, I don't know, body, something crazy. Background color yellow, and look at that now. Let me bring this. So as soon as I save, you see I didn't save yet this file. So as soon as I save it, Gulp here will recognize that, and it will run and do all the steps that we put there and finish. So save. Look, in 13 milliseconds did all the stuff that I was talking about last 15 minutes, right? It did all the steps in Gulp file that we set it up here. So if we did everything right, we should see in our distribution folder, which we don't right now. Is it refreshed? So we should see style.script.min.js inside our distribution folder. Why this always happens like that? So let's see if our style.css got. So you see our style. This is our style.css that was before, like that big regular CSS file. See what it has on the top? It has Bootstrap, because we included it in our Gulp file, right? We said, oh, I know why it didn't. Okay, I'll explain you. But so we said, okay, pick up Bootstrap first. So that's what it did. It picked up Bootstrap first. So this is all Bootstrap stuff. And right after that, there is style.css, and there is the other WooCommerce.css, and it puts them all together, minify them in big old file, and did all the auto prefixer, all those nice things for us. So we don't have to worry any more about it. We just start Gulp watch, and we start working, and it's going to combine them all. And now our site, when someone hits our site, instead of if we put this all separately, our site would have to make 3 requests to the server to bring Bootstrap, go there, go back. Bring CSS, okay, go there, go back. Bring WooCommerce CSS, go there, go back. And the more those go back and there and back you have, the slower your page will be. And more people you have, your web server will be like, oh, I'm getting more requests, and it's gonna start struggling. That's why it's very nice to concatenate all the files together, minify them, and now we have only one file that our site is loading instead of more. Our JavaScript didn't get loaded because we didn't change anything inside. So this JS task never ran. So we're gonna change this, and also to test our JavaScript. So we're gonna open our main.js and just console.log. And since we are in Texas, we don't do hello world, we do howdy world, right? Is that correct? Is that how you say, or no? I'm 7 years Texan. I don't know. But you see, I saved it and it ran JS tasks. I saved it twice because I messed up the semicolon. So it did in 2 seconds. It combined Bootstrap and my main.js, and it saved it inside distribution, and it uglified it, right? There it is. So this is all this console log and my Bootstrap all together, boom. So every time now we change that JavaScript file, it's gonna be pre-rendered, It's howdy like this. I remember. You see, I saved again, it ran again, and automatically save it there. So in order our the last piece that we need to do, remember we included our WordPress is aware of our style.css, that's by default, but we never told WordPress, okay, look for this, include me this style script.min.js. So we need to enqueue it again. And the way we do that is, let me see, I don't forget my notes here. Okay, so we can just do the same thing. Let's say copy this from here, and we wanna do a comment, main JS script, and then of course we want to have our unique handler. So we say custom JS script, and we need to use this function now to tell the location, like kind of to build a URL. So this get template directory URL says, okay, give me this theme root folder. So this will give you theme root folder, and then what folder we're looking for right now? Anybody knows? No? Which file we wanna include? We wanna enqueue the new one, the JavaScript file that we're getting generated. So we need to say, okay, root folder, look in the distribution folder. So we just change here dist, and what is the name of our file? It's script.min.js. This array, we said this is we put dependencies. So I know for a fact we're gonna use jQuery in the future. So you just put jQuery here in the quotes. You say, okay, before you load this JavaScript file, load jQuery as well, so it doesn't fail, right? I know jQuery you guys maybe didn't use that much in Web 2 or something, but it's a JavaScript library. If you want to use it, if you want to use jQuery in your JavaScript file, you need to include it before that. So this is WordPress way of telling that. For the version, you can put this one. Actually, I don't like to, until I'm developing, I don't like to go and anytime I change the version, the JavaScript file, I want to change the version. So the way to solve that, instead of hard coding versions like 1.012 or date like that, or I just use a PHP function that it's just time, function time gives you current time in seconds, and it's always going to be different, right? Every time I save is going to be different version number because it's different time, right? So you don't have to worry about. And then true is, somebody remember what true stands for? Why we use this parameter? Yes, so the JavaScript, we say WordPress, okay, load this JavaScript file in the footer of the page. If we put false, it's gonna in the top. But as I described you, if you use jQuery stuff or JavaScript, usually you load them to the bottom, so your whole page gets loaded first, so you can interact with your elements on the page. And once we save that, if we go to our page and now we refresh, we should have Bootstrap included in our site. We should have our style.css, where is it? Script. So there is the script.mean.js, and there is the version, and you see this is Unix current time in seconds. And basically what this, if just some fun fact, what Unix time means, those are number of seconds that are passed since January the 1st, 1970. Yeah, so every time we resave, it's going to be different second, different number, right? So that's our version number. That's how I like to do it, but this means it's never gonna be cached. Not never, but it shouldn't be cached in the browser too much. Sometimes if you do something and you refresh your page to see the changes, if you don't see them, you gotta clear your cache in your browser so everything gets loaded new. Alright, so with this, I think, yeah, we don't have any more setups to do. Now we can start coding, right? And I know it was a lot, but I was thinking about this